Welcome back to another episode of Sean and Ed's Do Baseball. I'm Sean.
And I'm Ed.
And we are bringing you baseball history.
That's right. We're a bi-weekly baseball history podcast where the story catcher doesn't know what the story pitcher is out on the mound throwing them.
That's right. I have no idea. I got nothing. Well, you gave me a slight hint, but it really didn't help.
No, it gave you no information about the story whatsoever.
You're like, well, it might be two people, and I'm like, all right, I don't know what that means, but I guess I did that with my Johnny with the Johnny Dodge episode, and his buddy that accidentally killed him. So yeah, well, let's do this. Before we do this,
before we preamble a little bit more here, I will say that this story is much less tragic than that one. It does have it does have some tragedy, and that's partially why I'm telling the story. But the story itself is not that tragic. But anyway, that's all I'm gonna say.
All right. Well, tragedy or not, where can people find us if they want to find us on the internet?
If people want to find us on the internet and learn about more tragic stories, they can find us at Doing Baseball or at Doing.Baseball. If you're perusing around the World Wide Web, you should be able to find us at one of those two handles, whatever platform you're looking for us on.
Yeah. Heck yeah. And wherever you're listening to us and however you're listening to us, give us a review, give us a rating, give us a follow, whatever you want to do. Tell us what story to cover next. We're excited. We'll I think we'll be wrapping this 2025 season up, maybe with one more episode after this, and of course in 2025. Thank you for listening, and thank you to Two Loons. Two Loons Brewing, our absolute favorite beverage on this podcast, and you can find Two Loons Brewing, or their beers, I should say, at LCBO's, at your local bar here in Ontario, wherever you're listening to us. Well, actually, if you're only in Ontario, as far as I know. Check out Two Loons at twoloonsbrewing.com. You can find their IPA, their West Coast IPA, or their lager, and they also are always crafting up some crazy concoctions that you can find at beer festivals. And as always,
please be of legal drinking age, and of course, enjoy responsibly.
Absolutely. All right. Well, I'm going to enjoy this not so tragic, somewhat tragic story responsibly.
Yeah, well, anyway, it's not that tragic, but overall it's not that tragic, but there is a tragic event at the end that sort of was part of the reason I told this story. It was actually what led me down the rabbit hole to find out about one of these two characters, because I stumbled across it as I usually do. By, I was looking at a bit of, well, not exactly local, but local to us if you're talking about Ontario.
Sure.
I was looking at some local history and found, this character that, had a tragic event. Anyway, I'm digressing and rambling. I should just get to the point here. So you'll find out at the end. So
sure.
Anyway, let's get started here, Sean. And of course, before I get started, as I always do, I want to thank Sabre and encourage our listeners to become members, donate to the cause, all that. Sabre.org. It's a great resource for baseball history. We love it. We think you'll love it. Please go and do it. So, having said that, let's get started here, okay?
Sure.
Okay, so, Sean, if you flip through the dusty trivia corners of baseball history, as we often do, you'll find the White brothers.
Oh, okay.
James Laurie White, or Deacon, as he affectionately became known, was
Oh.
an eventual Hall of Famer, but his brother Will's name can be found tucked neatly beside a couple of well-worn questions. Who was the first major leaguer to wear eyeglasses?
Oh.
And who formed the first brother battery?
Wild. Okay.
Okay. They might seem like quirky footnotes today, but the life behind those answers, or the lives behind those answers, were anything but trivial. In fact, the careers of the White brothers read like one of those long-lost tales that Ken Burns might narrate with orchestral strings swelling gently beneath him, except if Burns occasionally slipped in a small grin at the absurdity of 19th century baseball.
All right.
Okay? So, as I sort of alluded to, this is a story about the careers of these two brothers, because had I focused on the one that I originally was going to tell the story about, this wouldn't have made that long of an episode. So you're getting a 2-for-1 deal here. You're getting a double header, so to speak.
Yeah, it's a BOGO deal.
Yeah.
You buy one Hall of Fame brother, and then you get the other one for free.
That's right. That's right.
It's like Cal Ripken
and Billy Ripken, yes.
Yeah, there you go.
But I don't know. I think you could argue that the, for lack of a better term, the lesser brother has a greater career than the lesser Ripken.
Oh, okay. All right. I see what you're saying.
Okay.
All right.
Anyway.
Well, I mean, if he wore glasses first,
Yeah. Well, that's, yeah. Well, anyway, carrying on. We'll start with the Deacon. In the quiet hills of Caton, New York, I believe that's how you say that, Caton. Do you want to dispute?
Caton? Sure. I'm not going to argue about upstate New York. They have enough problems.
Okay, fair enough. I'm going with Caton. Caton, New York, where farms clung to the countryside and the population barely nudged 4 digits. James Laurie White came into the world on December 2nd, 1847. His birthday's coming up.
Damn.
It was an unassuming birth for a man who would, in time, become one of baseball's earliest stars, the best barehanded catcher of his era, a champion several times over, and ultimately the answer to a different kind of trivia question: how did a man nicknamed the Deacon survive 20 years of 19th century baseball?
That is impressive. A barehanded catcher, 7. Well, and also, just to get back to be like, oh, it's an unglamorized birth. Like, who's like, we're having a baseball player. Hall of Fame doesn't exist yet. You don't know.
Yeah. That's true.
Birth announcement.
Okay, so young Jim grew up in a bustling household. He had one older brother ahead of him and 6 siblings behind, and a cousin down the road who would also become a ball player. But before the Civil War, baseball was still considered an urban novelty. Jim's version of the story is delightfully on brand. In his 90s, just weeks before he died, he told the Sporting News that he learned to play ball from a Union soldier fresh home from the war.
Okay.
The idea of baseball spreading across the country via homesick privates and regimental downtime is so very 19th century America, but you can almost hear Burns pausing thoughtfully before narrating it. Ken Burns.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, I'm picturing like the scene with the Union soldier, and it just looks very confusing because it's just 2 people trying to explain and play a game that involves 18.
Yeah.
She's like, then you can play center and just runs out here, or you can play third base and just like runs. Okay, sir. You smell funny.
Continuing on, whether that soldier was in fact Jim's own brother Leroy, who enlisted in 1864 and came home the next year, will forever be a satisfying possibility.
I'm going to go with that. That makes more sense than a random Union soldier being like, hello, son, let me teach you about baseball.
I agree. I think that makes much more sense. But that's never been neither confirmed nor denied
Yeah,
throughout the accounts of history, but we're gonna go ahead and say that that's what happened.
sure, sure. It was his brother. His
Yeah,
brother taught him baseball after the war.
yeah. Jim began playing in earnest in 1866 and formed a local team in Caton, and then joined Leroy on the Monitor Baseball Club of Corning. The Monitors weren't exactly flawless. Game accounts politely suggested that Jim had better days behind the plate than the one in which he logged 7 passed balls. But talent won out, and by 1868 the brothers were in Cleveland joining the Forest City Baseball Club. Cleveland's newspapers took to Jim immediately. He hit, he fielded, and he hustled. He was tall for the era, nearly 6 feet, and something of a natural athlete. He caught, he played shortstop, and he pitched in a pinch. So we got a two-way guy here.
Okay, yeah.
What?
And this is early. Like has to be like some of the first pro teams, or are they even pro?
I don't even think they're pro at this point yet, because this is
Yeah,
shortly after 1866. So
yeah. No, I know.
by 1868 the brothers were in Cleveland. So
That's yeah.
okay. When the local railway union club beat Forest City 21-14, the paper still singled out Jim as the best man on the field. By 1869 and 1870, White had blossomed into one of the finest players in the region. His hands, however, were another matter. Catching barehanded was, as one might imagine, a brutal endeavor. When his fingers began turning black and blue, Jim put on buckskin gloves.
Oh,
He was not the first player to do so, but he was certainly among the earliest to recognize that hands are better when they continue to function.
yeah,
Obviously.
sure.
Those early years saw him run, hit, dive, catch, fill in on the mound, and repeatedly turn foul tips into outs with the reflexes of a man who simply refused to let a baseball hit the ground.
Yeah, and I believe they're not playing nearly as close to the batter, right? He's like, and I think you can like all foul tips are outs. I'm fairly certain at this point. It's been a little while since I read my early days books, but no, it's brutal. But obviously, as you say, he's taking some protection, and everybody's loving his reflexes.
Yeah, yeah. As we said, one of the best of the time. So, the National Association, which as we know is considered by many to be the first professional league, first official professional league anyway, and that was launched in 1871. And Forest City paid $10 for the privilege to join it.
Ah,
In the league's very first game, Jim White doubled to become the first man in professional league history to record a hit.
okay.
He also became the first man doubled off at second base after losing track of a fly ball.
Ah.
So there,
some records you tell your kids about. Others you don't.
Yeah, exactly. It was, in a way, the perfect beginning to a long baseball life filled with excellence, oddities, and the occasional misadventure. Jim caught every league game that season, and though Forest City finished far from the top, White was among the best players in the circuit. He hit .322, led the league in putouts, and looked every bit the rising star. But 1872 brought heartbreak. Jim's cousin and teammate, Elmer White, died at just 22 years old.
Oh,
I'm not sure how, but he was the first professional player ever to pass away.
interesting.
So another first for the White family. Baseball had grown out of childhood games, but it was still a young man's world filled with uncertainty. Jim pressed on. He became team captain, team manager, and sometime financier as Forest City restructured mid-season into a player-run cooperative.
Interesting.
Even then, the team folded by August, as was the fate of many of the early clubs.
Yeah, I mean they're paying a fee that's less than to put a kid in t-ball right now.
Yes.
I'm not kidding. That $10 entrance fee is like $250.
Yeah. Despite his talent, White walked away from baseball that winter, the first of many retirements. But Boston coaxed him back, though he almost didn't report, believing that his recent religious conversion meant baseball might endanger his soul.
Okay, he's like, I've gone from Lutheran to Presbyterian. I got to check the rules.
Yeah. I gotta check the rule book here. Newspapers reacted with varying degrees of snark. One accused him of thinking it wasn't sinful to break a contract, but was sinful to honor it by catching curveballs on weekdays.
Okay.
Jim ultimately returned, and Boston was grateful. In 1873, he hit .392, led the league in RBIs, and was widely considered the best catcher in the game. The Clipper, which is a newspaper, praised him as honest, reliable, and unflappable, a man who neither complained to umpires nor chased vice. And thusly, the Deacon was born.
Ah, I was waiting for that.
Yeah.
So he's just it's like they don't argue. He doesn't argue. He doesn't drink. So
Yeah,
Deacon.
he's a clean living guy amongst a gaggle of crazy men,
Well, yeah.
as we've learned.
I think I read. I was looking at some stat about the amount of whiskey that was consumed, like on average during this period. And you have to remember, he doesn't drink.
Yeah.
So his teammates need to make up for it.
Yeah. So hence known as the Deacon. So he's in Boston, and he's catching Al Spalding, our mortal nemesis.
Ooh, absolutely, we hate him.
And he's anchoring one of baseball's finest infields, and he's contributing heavily at the plate. Jim White helped Boston win 4 consecutive championships from 1872 to 1875. In those days, catchers stood right behind the hitter, without a mask, without shin guards, without anything resembling modern safety gear, and incredibly, White did more than survive, he thrived. But then came the divining controversy of 1875. Quietly, Boston's Big Four, who was White, Spalding, Ross Barnes, and Cal McVeigh, all agreed to jump to Chicago the following season for salaries that Boston refused to match. It was the deadliest sin in 19th century baseball, signing early. But White insisted Boston had told him they couldn't compete with Western money. Quote, I didn't want to force them, he said, so I took Chicago's offer.
Which he didn't want to force them to pay him, so he went to Chicago.
Yeah, he's the Deacon.
He's like, God, it was for them. God, doesn't want me to put pressure on people. So I left
Jesus would want me to make a certain amount of money, and then
Sure.
Chicago offers the most, so I'm not going to pressure my friends, but,
Yeah, they're good people. I'm just gonna leave.
Yeah. It was.
I think I found. I mean, at least I'm sorry to digress you here, but I think Elmer died of tuberculosis. I'm not sure about that.
Okay, well that would make sense. Was
Yeah.
Have we talked about this before? Was TB not one of the major causes of baseball player deaths at the time?
Oh, yes,
And
absolutely.
probably not just baseball players, but
Yeah, there's a whole book that I'm trying to look up right now. That's just like how the world. Yeah, it's by John Gray. Tuberculosis is everything. It's just an entire book about how tuberculosis was just something that was just a part of our lives for centuries, and we
Yeah.
just don't have to deal with it. So good for us.
Yep. Yep. I guess. Moving on. So he takes Chicago's offer,
Uh-huh.
and three other guys take the offers too. It was professional, practical, not terribly dramatic, which made it all the more shocking to a sport that was still unfamiliar with free agent maneuvering. So he's in Chicago, and White kept doing what he always did. He hit 340, he caught more games than anyone, and he helped win championships. By
Oh,
1877, he returned to Boston, and this time he was catching his younger brother Will in Will's major league debut.
Battery Bros.
Together, they formed the first brother battery in the game's history.
Sweet.
Jim led Boston to yet another title in 1877, posting MVP caliber numbers, but the farm back home called to him, and so did Cincinnati. So he and Will joined the Reds in 1878, and though they couldn't topple Boston from the top of the league, they became the backbone of a strong team. Jim served as player manager briefly, hit 330 in 1879, and closed the decade as the premier catcher of the 1870s. Historian Peter Morris would later say simply, quote, Deacon White was far and away the best.
There you go. He's the best.
What else can you say? White played into his 40s, unheard of for a catcher of this era. He shifted to third base, where he set a record with 11 assists in one game in 1884. He became a...
What? 11 assists?
Yes,
Oh, damn. Okay.
so that's pretty good.
No, that's but his hands would have to be all mangled too. Like it's
Yeah.
just a miracle.
His hands are swollen to the point of where they are a glove.
Damn. I'm
That's it.
looking at I'm looking at pictures. This dude, he looks like he's like 50 years old. He's got no hair left and a huge mustache too, especially in his like 40s and
Yeah.
stuff.
I don't know why, but just it seems like the further back you go, the older people looked at a younger age. But anyway.
Oh, yeah, no, there's some like, but you can like watch his hairline just recede throughout his career. Anyways, it is.
Sometimes that happens, you know.
Oh yeah, no, we saw it with George Springer, man. Like,
True, fair
George,
point. Fair
we
point.
love you, George. It's almost time for shaving.
Yeah.
Anyways, continue.
Yeah. He became a clubhouse leader, a dependable bat, and a defensive marvel long after most players of his generation were retired, broken, or employed as saloon keepers. He played for Buffalo, Detroit, Pittsburgh, and even the short-lived Players League Bisons.
Hmm.
He fought politely against the practice of selling players without their consent. He held firm views on the reserve clause. He managed, captained, invested in teams, and became part owner of a franchise. Through all of it, he remained the deacon, principled, respected, and occasionally amused by the chaos swirling around him. Jim White's last major league game came in 1890, 20 seasons after his first. He collected more than 2,000 hits, ranked among the all-time leaders in nearly every offensive category upon his retirement, and left as one of baseball's true pioneers. He drifted briefly back into minor league ball in 1891 before retiring for good, this time successfully, to Buffalo, where he had built a comfortable life. History would take its time remembering him, but remember him it did. Today, Deacon White stands as the game's earliest great catcher, a bridge between baseball's homemade beginnings and its professional future. For baseball fans, he remains one of the sport's most enduring figures, a man who caught barehanded, hit everything thrown at him, and lived long enough to tell the tale himself.
Okay, I mean, yeah, I mean, he probably had held the record for longest career, I would think, for a little while.
Possibly, yeah. I mean, yeah, he played well into his 40s, which was probably fairly uncommon at the time.
Yeah, and
It
I
was
mean,
tough to live into your 40s if you're
yeah, well,
if you're a baseball player.
yeah. Well, I mean, he loses one out of, at least that we know of, one out of 8 siblings before 40.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, no,
Well, that was a cousin.
oh, that was his cousin.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
Elmer was his cousin. So
Oh, okay. Well, 1 out of 9 if we include the cousin in this.
yeah. So now we're gonna switch gears a little bit here and focus on the life of his brother, who was briefly mentioned there.
Okay.
So now we're going to talk about Will White,
Okay.
the younger brother of Jim. William Henry White arrived in 1854 in Caton, New York,
Yeah.
the kind of rural community where everyone knew each other, and more importantly, everyone had access to a big empty field perfect for baseball games played with homemade equipment and questionable rules. He was the fourth of the 8 children that were born to Lester and Adeline White. And baseball wasn't just a pastime for the White household, it was practically a trade. As mentioned, his older brother James was the future Hall of Famer Deacon White, and aforementioned cousin Elmer were among the earliest professional ball players, back when the National Association was still figuring out what a league actually was. Young Will, obviously, followed in their footsteps, though not always successfully. He was nearsighted enough that later in life he'd rely on eyeglasses while pitching, which was an eccentricity for the time. And yet, somewhere between farm chores and family games, Will learned to tame a baseball in a way that would leave hitters muttering in disbelief well into the 1870s. So, by the mid 1870s, Will had developed a curveball
Ooh.
so sharp that it might have violated the laws of nature, or at least the laws of the local umpire if he'd thought to check. White pitched for strong amateur clubs, including the Lynn Live Oaks of Massachusetts, where he gained a reputation that traveled faster than his fastball. In Watertown, New York, he crossed paths with Harry McCormick of the Syracuse Stars and casually taught him how to throw a curveball. Just imagine, a man famous for wearing spectacles teaching another pitcher how to make the ball do something invisible. Around this time... Sorry, go ahead.
No, I can imagine. It's very vivid in my head.
There it is. Sean's imagining, everyone. So should you be. Around this time...
He's got glasses.
Yeah. He's got wire rimmed glasses on. Around this time, Will married a teenaged Harriet Holmes.
Whoa. Whoa. Where's this one? Okay. Sorry. Redo that sentence.
Yeah. Well, it's not really that different. Around this time, he married a teenaged Harriet Holmes, and their daughter Catherine arrived in December of 1876.
Okay, now, how old is he?
He was born in 1854, so he would be 22.
Damn. Well, I'm really hoping it's a 19. Wait, we should move on.
We should move on. I agree. I have my I feel like it may not be, but
I know. It was the times. The times.
Anyway, I don't know for sure. Baseball was already in his blood, but now he had a family counting on his right arm. A strong motivator for someone about to enter the highest level of the sport.
He's got 2 children at home.
Yeah.
You didn't get it.
God. Jesus Christ.
I'm sorry.
That's not funny. The Boston Red Stockings gave White a 3-game audition in July 1877, thanks in large part to a recommendation from his brother, the Deacon. The games were chaotic by modern standards. Errors flew around the diamond. like confetti at a parade, but Will's performance cut through the noise. He pitched 3 complete games, won 2 of them, allowed mostly unearned runs, and walked just 2 batters. His ERA checked in at a crisp 3.00.
All right.
More importantly, though perhaps only to baseball's most devoted trivia collectors, White accomplished 2 historical firsts. He was the first major leaguer to wear glasses, which was unusual enough that sports writers felt obliged to comment. The Sporting Life noted that despite wearing spectacles and having, quote, weak eyes, White could, quote, land one over the plate whenever he wanted.
You see that guy? His eyes suck.
Yeah.
But he can throw good.
He can throw good.
Weird. That's the news.
It's very strange. This is the news. You can almost hear the writer saying this with surprise, perhaps even disappointment, that a man with glasses had the audacity to succeed at competitive sport.
Okay. So it's also it's nice that like the nerd stereotype has been around since the 1870s.
At very least, it's been around since the 1870s. And the second feat, we already sort of talked about this, is that he was part of the first brother battery, and of course, I'm saying it again. Of course, as mentioned earlier, with Deacon catching and Will pitching, the Whites became the first sibling duo to form a professional battery in Major League history. One imagines the family dinners were lively affairs filled with pitch calling advice and subtle reminders of who led the league in what. I mean, probably not, because one was a positional player and one was a pitcher, but anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm better at throwing. I'm sure he's hitting too at the pitcher, Will or whatever. I'm sure he's hitting as well, but like it's not like Deacon's pitching at this point.
No. Yes, Will is hitting, and if you check his stat line, it's not good. So I don't think that there would be that much competition being spoken. Anyway, carrying on. In 1878, the brothers moved to the Cincinnati Reds, a club willing to pay for talent in the lawless, pre-reserve clause landscape. Deacon continued his Hall of Fame caliber career, while Will blossomed into one of the finest pitchers of the era. His 1878 season was outstanding. Are you ready for the stats?
I'm ready.
52 complete games.
Okay.
30 wins, and a 1.79 ERA.
Oof. That is spicy. 30. Well, yeah. How many innings pitched?
I don't have that stat offhand right now because, in fact, even with those numbers, 1878 pales in comparison to his 1879 season.
Okay, I'm sorry, but I got it. It was 468 innings pitched, and you're right. The next year is mind-blowing.
Yeah. I'm
not looking.
I hate that you've taken this away from me, but Will threw...
I'm sorry, go!
Will threw 75 complete games, pitched 680 innings.
There it is.
Won 43 games, struck out 232, and posted an ERA of 1.99.
Okay. All I looked at was the innings pitched, so you shared a lot there.
Okay.
Just want you to know.
Yeah. Thank you.
That is wild. That is wild.
These are the kind of numbers that make modern managers clutch their elbows protectively.
Yeah.
He also famously demonstrated his curveball before a group of skeptics by throwing around 3 posts set in a straight line.
I love that there would probably be like some sort of like flat earther with curveballs back then.
Yeah. It's
impossible.
It's a trick pitch.
It's a trick. He's a witch. Just burn him on the poles after.
White's a witch. Okay, so in 1880, despite the sturdy 2.14 ERA, White's win-loss record sank to 18-42, thanks to Cincinnati's tragic inability to hit a baseball. The team scored only 296 runs all year. Fans stayed home, and to remain solvent, ownership resorted to selling beer on the grounds and renting the field for Sunday games. The National League frowned upon both beer and Sunday baseball.
Yes.
And expelled the Reds entirely.
Oh yeah, I forgot about this story. We had to have mentioned this at some point because it's ringing a bell to me.
I believe we have. I'm sure both of us have read about it at some point.
Yes, absolutely.
But
so beer and working on God's day.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm sure Deacon is very upset about this too.
He is. I mean, and then his owners get him expelled from the league.
Sure.
I mean, they're all expelled. But anyway, suddenly Will White and Deacon were unemployed, though not for long. The American Association, which was affectionately called, do you know?
The American Association?
The Beer and Whiskey League.
Oh, yeah, all right.
Was formed in 1882 and welcomed Cincinnati back into big-time baseball.
I like that they include beer and whiskey. They're like, that's it. No gin. If we see you with a Mai Tai, you're fucking out of here.
Yeah, you're out of here. No martinis.
No. Vermouth, get out of here.
Yeah. You make us sick. White was signed as the team's ace, and with a roster built from National League veterans, plus a rookie named Bid McPhee, the Reds stormed the league. White was masterful. He went 40-12 with a 1.54 ERA and led the league in practically everything meaningful. Pete Palmer and Gary Gillette, who were, if you don't know, ESPN Baseball Encyclopedia statisticians, later awarded him an honorary Cy Young Award for the season, one that he certainly would have earned had the trophy existed in 1882.
Oh, okay. All right.
He also set a major league record for assists by a pitcher, throwing out 223 runners.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Well, I guess he's pitching like a wild amount of innings.
That is
guys
true.
are also not trying to they're trying to hit the ball into the ground more. So
there's a lot of bunting, I bet.
Yeah, you're right.
You know,
you're 100% right on that.
Only Ed Walsh ever surpassed that mark, who we talked about a couple episodes ago. For a man remembered as bespectacled and scholarly, White was evidently quite spry. White's consistently kept Cincinnati on top. He threw 8 shutouts in 1882. Including one on July 21st, a game delayed so teammate Hick Carpenter could race to the ballpark while another player pretended to be sick.
I guess he slept in, and they're like, we can't win without him. Just Bennett, start puking.
Yeah, start puking. We need you to throw up until Hick gets here.
Who can throw up?
Yeah.
Everyone just starts puking.
Yeah.
Well, they're all like half in the bag anyways. They're like, just give me one more shot.
Yeah. Get me some of that gin. It makes me sick. 19th century baseball, where deception was part of the entertainment package. In the postseason, White pitched the Double-A champion Reds to, not Double-A, the American Association champion Reds, to a symbolic victory over the NL's Chicago White Stockings, blanking them 4-0. This wasn't obviously a formal World Series, but it was a statement that the upstart league belonged. White followed with another spectacular year in 1883 and recorded a league-leading 43 wins and a 2.09 ERA. On opening day 1884, he pitched through a sore shoulder in front of a packed grandstand decorated with buggies, horses, and a giant pennant proclaiming Cincinnati the reigning champions. The ensuing 11-inning thriller ended in White's favor, 6-5. Ball players of the time were not known for moderation. Many famously enjoyed nightlife, as we were talking about, drinking, and the occasional barroom misunderstanding. But Will White, however, invested in a tea shop.
Oh,
He
like a literal teetotaler.
Yes. He avoided alcohol, stayed out of trouble, and was baptized in the Ohio River in 1883 as a member of the Second Advent denomination. His teammates swung clubs while he poured chamomile.
All right.
So I wonder if his brother did the same thing, and that's,
Oh, I'm sure. I mean, it's his brother's what, like 6 years older than him. So
yeah.
I mean, you're gonna if your brother has like such a good. I mean, there's two directions, right? If your brother's like everyone's like, we love him, he's so nice. You're either gonna try to be as nice, or you're gonna be the opposite. Sounds like you tried.
You're gonna be resentful of that position, but yeah, no, it sounds like he tried to follow in the deacon's footsteps.
It's like, you guys like tea? You want some tea?
Yeah.
I know we play in the beer and whiskey league, but you guys like tea?
Yeah. Get out of here, Will.
All right, I'm going to go win 40 games.
Yeah. He may have looked professional with his wire-rimmed spectacles and prematurely white hair, but hitters learned quickly that beneath the scholarly appearance beat the heart of a fierce competitor. One of his favored tactics was pitching inside, aggressively so. In 1884, when the hit by pitch became an automatic base, White still led the majors with 35 hit batsmen.
Damn. I like that for 7 years that he could just hit guys and have no consequences.
Yeah, that's basically what the next sentence says here. Before that rule change, one must assume he plunked his share of hitters without consequence.
I love it.
Historian David Nemec later wrote that the new rule robbed Will of one of his favorite weapons, intimidation.
Hitting guys in the dick.
Will White briefly tried managing the Reds in 1884, guiding them to a 44-27 mark, but he stepped down modestly, saying he was of, quote, too easy a disposition to continue.
Okay.
It's like, I'm not crazy enough to be a manager.
Yeah, these guys are all drunk. I'm just gonna
drink some tea and step down.
Pitch.
Yeah.
You see my glasses? I read books.
After 1885, his arm finally had enough. He pitched 3 more games in 1886 and retired at the age of 31.
Okay.
Do you want to take a guess what he did next?
I mean, he's in the tea business. Nothing crazy, unless it is.
No, but it's maybe not what you'd expect. It makes sense when you think of the fact that he has glasses.
A librarian?
No. He turned to optometry.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, good for him.
A fitting choice for a man whose glasses once turned heads as much as his curveball did. By 1889, he and Deacon ventured into business together, forming the Buffalo Optical Company.
Okay.
They also became involved with the Buffalo Bisons of the International League. Though contractual entanglements prevented Deacon from joining the team. Will pitched 20 games for the Bisons and then stepped away from baseball entirely. Everyone's the Bisons.
Everyone is on them. Even though, guess what he did in retirement?
Yeah.
He pitched for the Bisons.
Yeah, that's right. In Buffalo, he built a successful career as an optician and helped found the Christ Mission, a charitable center providing food, shelter, and spiritual aid to the city's poor. For a man known on the field for competitiveness and brushing back hitters, his off-field generosity revealed a quieter, gentler legacy for Will White.
Well, that's nice. That's kind of what I expected. I thought you were going to go with like he becomes a priest or like a missionary or something like that. So
Pretty
that's just
close.
yeah. He becomes an eye doctor that like helps the poor in Buffalo. Sure.
Yeah. All right. Are you ready for almost the end? Are you ready for the reason that I decided to look into Will White? And I
I
discovered
thought we already talked about it. He seemed like a cool dude that liked to hit people with the baseball.
he did. He had a great career. Him and his brother both had great careers. But it's
Yes,
it's it's
100%.
it's not what turned me in the direction of him in the first place.
Okay.
Here we
It
go.
wasn't his teenage bride?
It was not. On August 31st, 1911, at his summer home in Port Carling, Ontario,
Oh, okay.
Will White suffered a heart attack while teaching his niece to swim.
Okay.
He drowned at the age of 56.
Oh, shit.
Yeah,
In Port Carling.
in Port Carling, Ontario, yes. Just a stone's throw from where we are right now.
That's true. I've been to Port Carling.
Yeah.
Probably this summer.
We'll be much closer when we are recording our season finale.
Yeah, 100%. That's wild.
Yeah,
That's
it'll be
so,
just down the road.
that is okay. Okay, so you did mention at the beginning of this, two bios ago that it had some local flair to it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, no, that's wild. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's gonna be like an hour away from when we get together next.
Yeah, maybe even probably less than an hour. But anyway,
Yeah, probably.
I'm just going to
Anyways,
continue on and summarize this a little bit at the end here.
he died.
He died. He drowned at the age of 56 in Port Carling, Ontario. And his
Uh-huh.
will left a portion of his $21,000 estate to the Christ Mission and requested that his daughter do the same.
Yeah, that's one way to parent after death.
Yeah, yeah. Give your money to the
Dad's
mission.
will. Dad's will says I have to give my money away.
Yeah. He was buried in Buffalo's Forest Lawn Cemetery, remembered by many as a man whose fastball carved his name into baseball history and whose character left a softer impression. Will White's career was short but brilliant. He won more major league games than Addie Joss, Dizzy Dean, or Sandy Koufax, posted ERA marks that would make any Hall of Famer proud, and threw more innings in a single season than some modern pitchers manage in an entire career. He was, in every sense, a trailblazer. He was, as mentioned, the first to wear glasses in the majors, half of the first brother battery, an early master of the curveball, a pitcher whose durability seems unfathomable today, and a man whose sportsmanship and faith stood out in a rowdy baseball era. If baseball is a story of characters, bold, odd, brilliant, and flawed, then Will White remains one of the sport's most fascinating early figures. A great pitcher, yes, but by many accounts, an even better man.
Damn.
And that's
Well,
the story of baseball's, White brothers in the very early days of the professional major leagues.
and their cousin Elmer.
And their
Didn't
poor
make it
cousin
to
Elmer.
23.
Yeah. Poor,
Oh my
poor
goodness.
cousin Elmer.
I'm assuming Elmer was the tragedy. Uh,
Elmer
that-
was the best one,
yeah, imagine. He was better than Deacon,
Yeah.
and he could drink.
Yeah.
No, that was great. Honestly, I crossed it off my list. I had not thought about this. Don't remember when I wrote the note, but in my list of topics, I had the White brothers, Deacon, Will, and Elmer. So there you go.
okay.
I had it on my list. I had never got to it, never researched it, knew nothing about them. Obviously, I'm blown away that one of them died so close to where we are. But that was great. That was great. I understand. Yeah, that's the they were too goody two shoes to have their own bio.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
They didn't like run and jump out the window of
Yeah.
a
Nobody
warehouse or
stabbed their manager or anything like
yeah.
that, you know. They didn't go
They
to
just
a carnival and learn of their destiny, you know.
yeah. They didn't get hit in the face with a ball dropped from like a plane or a tower or
Yeah,
something.
yeah. But they did drown. One of them did drown in Port Carling,
There we
and the
go.
other one lived to a ripe old age of 90 something. So
Yeah, and honestly, I've like, yeah, 40 game winners. You don't hear about that nowadays.
no,
Um, no, those are great. Thank you for doing that. Thanks for giving us the story on the White Bros and cousin. But yeah, that was fantastic. You can. Yeah, thanks for listening. Thanks for bringing that. Where can people find us, Edsy?
people can find us on the World Wide Web somewhere at Doing Baseball or at Doing Baseball if you're perusing around the internets and want to chime in some conversation, or you just want to look us up. You can find us at one of those two handles. So go ahead and do that, please.
Yeah, and give us a rating, give us a follow, give us a review. It helps the pod. If you're not following, the podcast wherever you're listening to it, please give that a follow. But no matter what, thank you so much for listening. Thank you to Two Loons, and thanks, Edsy, for that story. And until next time, I'm Sean.
And I'm Eds.
And we were doing the baseball.
Okay, bye.
Oh, it's fun! They're having fun!
So dumb.
No!